Hello, welcome to another video. As you can see, today I'm doing an unhaul. I'm doing a fairly sizable unhaul, and there's a few books on here that I have been meaning to get rid of for quite a while, and haven't. I've been holding on to them for various reasons, and I was doing a Patreon live show the other night, and we just decided, hey, let's be brutal before Christmas, because Christmas is coming. I've got my tree out. Do you like it? Christmas is coming, and I know I'm going to end up with more books. Never mind that, though. I already have books that need to work their way back onto the shelf that I don't have space for. So, I've been brutal, and we've got some books coming off. Some books that have been, like, long-standing on the TBR. Books that I need to be honest with myself, I'm not going to read. And books that I have read that I'm just never going to reread. There's some middle grades in here as well that will probably be donated to my sister's school in the next round of doing that. But yeah, I needed to be brutal, so that's what we're doing today. So I'm gonna get some of the big ones out of the way immediately, and the first one that's sat right next to me is, oh good god, my Game of Thrones box set, because realistically I'm never gonna reread the first one or finish the series. I read the first one, I got like 200 or 300 pages into the second one, DNF'd it, and have zero interest in continuing. I DNF'd the TV show as well. I think me and Jake only got to like season 4 of that, and unpopular opinion, but it just bored me. I really wasn't into it. I mean, it takes a lot to get me into a TV show anyway. I'm not big on watching TV. You'd think that would have been up my street, but no. And the books as well, although I do like my chunky adult fantasy political things, this series is just not it for me, and realistically, I'm never going to read them. I liked the first one enough, but the second one just totally turned me off, so I'm gonna clear this much space. I mean, I've been storing them that way, to be fair, but I'm gonna clear this much space on my shelf and just bite the bullet on this one. Like, did anyone even know I owned them? Because they're, like, wedged in a corner out of the way. Because I knew I was never gonna read them, so they're going. The next ones is probably gonna hurt some hearts. I don't know. Let me just see if I can pick these all up in one go. Hoi! Are you ready? Are you ready to have your heart broken? The Throne of Glass series. They're going. They're going. I'm biting that bullet too. I have read the first one. It was fine. I hated the second one. The third one was much better. And then I've been about 20 pages into the fourth one for about 3 years now, and I have still not picked it up. It might even be 4 years. I don't know. I said to myself a few years ago at least, I put it on my like series to finish this year list in like whatever year that was. And even then, for the past like 2, maybe 3 years, I've been saying like, I'm not going to put it on that list because it's just not a priority for me. And it's still not a priority for me. There is nothing about this series that is calling to me whatsoever. It's been very mediocre for me so far, and I just don't care enough to continue. I like the ACOTAR series, I liked Crescent City, I like Sarah J Maas as an author, I suppose, but the Throne of Glass series is just not it for me, and I am moving on from it. Goodbye, Throne of Glass! They're really heavy all in one go. And whilst we're doing big old series, I might as well talk about this one too. We're also getting rid of the Grishaverse. Not just the trilogy, but the duology as well that goes with it. So we're getting rid of Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, Ruin and Rising, Six of Crows, and Crooked Kingdom. I've read all of these. I buddy read them with Becca ages ago. I am never gonna reread this trilogy. It was pretty It was okay, I didn't hate it. I think I was surprised by the fact that I didn't hate it, but realistically I am never going to reread these, so they can go. I mean, they are beautiful with the, like, shininess and stuff. I like the visual of them, but I'm never going to reread them. They were okay, but they're taking up space on my shelf, so goodbye to the Shadow and Bone trilogy. And then Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, I don't think I've loved as much as everyone else has, which is a shame, but they don't match. So if I ever did want to reread them, I would buy a different set that actually match, because my Crooked Kingdom is weirdly too big, and I would maybe even try and get hold of like some pretty editions or something if I ever wanted to reread these ones, but I don't love them as much as everybody else did, so sadly they're going as well. So that is already a massive amount of books that I'm getting rid of already. Next up, another one I can do in a pair is gonna be Wicked Like a Wildfire and Fierce Like a Firestorm by Lana Popovich. I read this one years ago. I want to say like 2017, when it was pretty fresh. But yeah, 2017. And then I purchased the sequel with all intention to read that as well, because it is just a duology. But in order for me to read the sequel at this point, I would need to reread the first one, and I'm just not going to do that. So it's another pair that I'm not really fussed by and can just lose. It's fine. Not a great loss. I remember enjoying Wicked Like a Wildfire. It's about these twin girls that have some sort of like witchcraft in their family. I think one of them something to do with music and one of them something to do with like fractals of beauty or something. And I think their mum can like bake memories into like fragrances and tastes and stuff. I can't exactly remember. But there was like a bad witch and we get involved in the like witches coven thing, but I don't remember enough of it to be able to read the sequel, and I'm not going to reread it, so they can go too. The rest are all individuals, so let's get through some of them. They Threw Us Away by Daniel Kraus. This was a middle grade monthly pick that we read. It's just not for me. I was confused by the audience for it. You can see all my thoughts on this in 1, the reading race that we did, 2, the middle grade monthly live show for this one. But it's about a bunch of teddies that I thought were going to be evil based on the illustrations in this. And it was just confusing. Like, it's a middle grade, but also, like, not a middle grade, and kind of creepy, but, like, not in the way I was expecting. Weird vibes. Still not entirely sure who the target audience on this one is, but it's not me, so it's going. Next up, Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. This is a beautiful book, and I think that's the only reason I own it, because it's gorgeous. Like, really pretty. But I just realistically don't think I'm going to read it, and I need to be honest about that, so it's going. It's a Les Mis retelling. I remember there being some hype around it, but I haven't heard anything in, like, recent years, so Next up, we have A Phoenix First Must Burn, which is a collection of short stories of black girl magic, resistance, and hope. I enjoyed this at the time. Like, it's a collection of short stories, so of course some are better than others. I didn't dislike it, but realistically, am I ever gonna reread a collection of short stories? No, I don't think I am, so it's gonna go. It's a beautiful book, and it's floppy as well, which is pleasing, but I'm just not going to reread short stories. I'm not a massive fan of short stories to start with, so the fact that I even, liked some of the short stories is pretty impressive. But yeah, I'm never going to reread them, so that can go. A recent read from me, His Royal Hopeless. This is one that I will definitely donate to my sister's school. I liked this. This was fun. This was fine. I read this for my, spoopy Halloween vlog. It was good fun. I enjoyed it, but again, I can donate it to my sister's school, not unhauling this out of dislike for it again, but it can go somewhere else. It's about a young Sinestevil who is supposed to be an evil ruler, but he's just hopelessly kind, and that is a problem. It was good fun, I enjoyed, so yeah, that one will probably go to my sister's school. Next up, I have A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. Realistically, am I going to read this? No, it's the hardback. I got it when it was pretty fresh. It's still got the receipt in it. I just really don't think I'm ever gonna read it. It's got some really pretty end papers going on there. I have lost all desire on this one, really, and I know that people have recently read the sequel to it, and I don't recall hearing anything amazing about that, so I don't have like the greatest expectations from that, and it's kind of just dampened my excitement for it in general, so I'm just gonna call it a day on this one and be honest and realistic in the fact that I'm probably never gonna read it, so it can go. Next up, I have Kingdom of Souls by Raina Barron. I liked this. I didn't love this. I think I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. It was okay. If I'm not mistaken, the cover to the sequel doesn't match this one anyway, I think. But am I going to read the sequel? Do I remember enough about this to read the sequel? And do I want to reread this? Did I enjoy this enough to be okay with rereading in order to read the sequel? I don't have that fond a memory for it, so it's gonna be a no. But I remember not disliking it, but I just also didn't feel massively passionate about this one. It's about a young girl who comes from a line of witch doctors and she's like waiting on her magic, but there's something to do with demons and children going missing. Yeah, she trades years for magic to try and catch the child snatcher because children are going missing, and yeah, she, although is part of a family of powerful witch doctors, doesn't have magic of her own. But yeah, something to do with demons. The Demon King is stirring, yeah, demons. Demons, child snatchers, magic. I liked it okay at the time, but I'm not going to reread it, and I'm not going to read the sequel, so it can go. Unpopular opinion incoming. I DNF'd Once and Future Witches, and I now have icky feelings about it because it's way more historical than fantastical, and I want more fantasy than history. It's rooted too much in real history for me personally. I just was bored from the like 80 or so pages that I read and don't think I'm ever going to pick it up again. Which is a shame, because it's beautiful. Oh, there's nothing under the dust jacket. Why did I think there would be? But yeah, it's a shame because it's a beautiful book, but I'm never going to pick this one back up because I DNF'd it and I feel a bit meh about it. So this can go too. We're getting there, I promise. Next up, we have Middle Game by Shauna Maguire. Another one that is probably a bit of an unpopular opinion. I'm really sorry to certain people about this one. This one even has a black tab for being one of my books that will self-destruct in 12 months if I haven't read it. I'm destroying it before then because brutality is called for, and there are other books on that list that I'm more inclined to give a chance than this one. We're just being honest and getting rid of it. There are people that have said they don't think I will like it anyway, so I know that it is loved and there are lots of people out there that do love this one, but I've heard that it's probably not going to be my cup of tea anyway, and I am not a massive fan of Shauna Maguire in general. I have unhauled all of the Wayward Children series in the past because that series was just rapidly declining for me in quality. I loved the first one, like 5 stars, but each one just went down, and I don't know if Shauna Maguire's writing perhaps is just not for me, but I don't feel anything about this book. I'm not excited to read it at all anymore, so it's going. Next up, I have The Shark Caller by Zilla Bethel. This was a middle grade monthly book that I ended up not reading. It was for the month when my life kind of just went to shit. So I never read it, and honestly, because I missed the month for middle grade monthly, I don't think I am gonna read it. And from the people that did read it for MGM, I have heard very mediocre things about it. Like, it wasn't great, it wasn't bad. But if you're not passionate about sharks, then probably one to miss. So yeah, I might donate this one to my sister's school if they want it. Like, it's not so much a recommendation, but it's a middle grade that they might appreciate. So that one could end up being donated as well. Next up, we have The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. I read this one a long time ago now, and realistically, I'm never going to reread it. This is about a town near some sort of body of water, and the Swan sisters were drowned for witchcraft, and then they come back each summer possessing the bodies of girls from that town to drag men to their watery deaths. And it follows a young girl who meets a young boy and wants to save him from a watery death. So, yeah. I think I liked it at the time, but I'm never going to reread it, so it can go too. Next up, I have Witches Steeped in Gold. This is the fancy Fairy Loot edition. It's beautiful, and I kind of almost want to keep it just because it's so pretty, but I don't think I'm going to read this. I have heard nothing but bad things about this. I remember before it was released, there was a fair bit of hype for it. People were excited about it. I think people gave some pretty positive reviews to the arc, but then since it's actually been out, I've heard nothing but bad things. I know a lot of people were disappointed by this. When I was chatting about it with my patrons, it was pretty overwhelmingly a thumbs down on this one. I haven't read it, so I can't give you my opinion on that, but I'm just not excited about it. If I did read it, I would have incredibly low expectations because of what I've heard about it, and therefore my excitement is just not there at all. It is a shame because it is beautiful, and the naked hardcover is beautiful as well. Fairy Loot do some absolutely stunning editions. It's just a shame that there are books that I'm not feeling. And this is one of those, so sadly, it can go. Next up, we have Star Daughter. Again, this is a Fairy Loot edition, and another one that was black-tabbed for being one of my self-destruct books, and I'm destroying it in advance. Again, I've heard that this one reads very young. I've heard pretty poor things about it. I don't actually know of anyone that's really enjoyed this one, which is a shame. Again, beautiful Fairy Loot edition with the gold sprayed edges, which is a shame. Does this have fanciness under the dust jacket? No, but it's got the artwork. But I'm not going to read it. It's just, I'm not excited about it at all, especially because I've heard that the writing is, just not quite right for the story. It reads pretty young, but it's not a middle grade. I don't mind things reading young if they're targeted to a younger audience. So I just feel a bit meh about this one anyway. So sadly, it's going. Another beautiful edition, but we're being honest, we're being brutal, we're getting rid of that. Next up, I have The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White. I read this ages ago. I liked it. I was interested in the sequel. It's now been a really long time and I'm not interested in the sequel and I can't remember enough about this, so it's going. But this is a King Arthur retelling about Guinevere. It's a beautiful hardback, to be fair. It's a first edition hardback of this one with that fancy sword under the cover. So this one's actually going to go to Steph, because Steph does like this series. So she's going to pinch that one. And then finally, hold on to your horses, finally we have The Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. But wait, this is the only standard hardback I own. I have the Fairy Loot hardbacks of these, the Fairy Loot special editions, and I have them in paperback. So just one random hardback isn't necessary. So that's the reason this can go. But this is the third book in the City of Brass series, which is one of my favourite series. Absolutely love it. Love this book so very much. Amazing series. If you haven't read it and you want a recommendation from this video, it's going to be this series. But yeah, just one random hardback when I've got the fancy hardbacks and the paperbacks. I don't need it. It's just taking up space. So this one is going as well. And there we go. There is my unhaul. I feel pretty successful. I've got rid of some ones that I was sitting on the fence on for a long time. Throne of Glass. So yeah, that getting rid of Throne of Glass has cleared a massive chunk on my space. A chunk on my space? Massive chunk of space on my shelf. So I'm really happy about that, actually. But yeah, there's an unhaul. As I always say when I do unhauls, please don't now say, oh no, you should definitely keep that one, because by the time you see this, they'll be gone. Whether that's donated, given to friends, or whatever else I decide to do with them. But yeah, There we go. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed my brutality here. If I've unhauled one of your favourites, I'm really sorry. It's not personal, you know that. But yeah, if you have enjoyed, give us a thumbs up, chat to me down below. Is there anything on my shelves that you think I'm not gonna like? That you think I should also perhaps be brutal with? Let me know. Let me know if you've spotted anything that you think, oof, Jade isn't gonna like that one. But yeah, otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in whatever comes next. Bye!